Hi, this is Amy. I'm back today to show you another painting design on a wine glass and a champagne glass. And this is what the finished ones will look like or resemble, because no two will be alike. My painted glassware, it's done by hand majority of the time, and so no two will be identical, just for that reason. Alright, so basically what I've done already, just to kind of save some time, is I've used a little dotting sponge and put a coat of the glitter paint. It's folk art enamel, it's the silver. So I actually went ahead and did that on both of them. And I'm kind of liking doing this just to give myself a base to paint on, hoping to make it a little bit more durable. So on the first glass, which is going to be the champagne glass, I'm just going to paint 2 flowers, since it's a smaller bowl. And they're pretty simple flowers. I'm just going to just go up and come back down. If I feel like I want more silver in the middle, I'll go back over it. Again, you know, with my painted glassware, as I normally say, it's up to you. It's yours. Make it yours. And, you know, if you're happy with the end results, that's the main thing. I think with the ones that I did kind of go over them twice. Just make them a little more opaque. And then I just keep turning my glass as I'm making my petals. Again, that's one thing nice with painted glassware. You can easily do that. And then I just keep turning it. Excuse my hand here. You know, and this is just kind of a made-up flower for me. It's really not a specific flower. So if you want to make it, you know, 5 petals, 4 petals, or excuse me, 5 petals, 6 petals, that's up to you. I think what I painted on the other glassware was 5 petals. So I'm going to make this one a little bit bigger just to kind of fit that in. But like I said, it doesn't matter. It's really up to you. Come back over here and do it. And you can make your petals wider if you want, or make them long and narrow. I was just trying to come up with a design. I don't really like that hump there too much. It would be easy to paint and look good on the glitter without it being just a generic pattern of sorts. Now on that one I might want to put a little bit more silver in the middle. So I'll just add more silver to my brush and come back down, and there you go. Pretty easy, pretty easy. As with any glass painting, you know, I do try to advise you that if you're going to bake it, the folk art enamels, which is what I typically use, at least at this point, they do not require baking. You can just let them dry, let them fully cure for 21 days. And that doesn't mean that you can't actually use them. I would recommend definitely hand washing if you use them in that time period. It just means that, you know, paint has a time where it actually takes for it to fully cure. So you have to give it time to do that. And that's basically what it means. Anyways, so that's what I'm doing on this one. Now on the bigger bowl, which is the wine glass, I'm going to actually do 4, probably a couple bigger bigger flowers and then try to fit into where I can fit them in. I should have gone over this one first, but you can go back and do it. It's one thing with glass painting, it's pretty easy, you know, once you get it down. It's pretty easy to do, pretty forgiving, and if you want to, you know, go back and adjust something. The only concern I'm seeing right now are some bubbles, so you definitely want to make sure that those kind of work out as much as you can. Now with this design, I'm going to be honest with you, since I'm using a cap, and I'll show you here in a few minutes to add that silver design on it. I'm putting a cap on the lid. Now that didn't work out real well. I'm probably not going to end up baking these because I have a fear that the paint will bubble. You know, if you put it on too thickly, it will bubble. And that's just the nature of it because it's too thick. And that's okay. Like I said, with this paint, it doesn't have to be baked. That's one thing nice about it. It doesn't require that. So I'm going to flip the glass. I like to put my bigger ones on. Now typically on most of my hand painted glasses I've always added leaves. So on this one, if you wanted to do that instead of adding the silver design, like the little scrolls that I'm going to put on, then you don't have to. I mean, that's, well, again, it's up to you. This is just a sample of what you can do. And just remember, when you are baking glass, if you decide to bake your glass, put it in a cold oven, preheat it, add the bake time to your preheat time, and then let it cool completely before you remove it from the oven. Follow the manufacturer's information that's put on the actual glass bottle, or not glass bottle, but the paint bottle. And that's just very important. There's so many different products out there now that you can paint with that you really need to pay attention to what they recommend. Now, once you become experienced with it, if you want to try something different, you know, lesser time, maybe a lower temperature, and that's fine too. But I would be kind of concerned if you've got one that actually has to be baked, if you're not baking it the full time, that it may not adhere properly to your glass and be a long-lasting design. So if you don't care, you know, if it's just a temporary thing and you're not really concerned about it, then knock yourself out. Like I said, this is just a easy little pattern to do. You know, if you wanted to come back and, like I said, add leaves, I typically probably would reverse the brushes and do silver outside on the outside of the leaves instead of the white, like I'm doing for the flower. That would probably look really pretty, and I've done that, I think, with my gold flowers before. But on this one, I just wanted to make it a little bit more festive looking by adding the lines, you know, with the little scrolls. And again, with these, no two will be alike because that's just how I roll. They'll be similarly painted, but with hand painting, I find that it's actually easier, you know, to just kind of do your thing and then, you know, make it to where. Now this part, and this is one of the reasons why I'm not going to bake them, is because this comes on pretty thickly. So I just want to make sure that it's not something that's going to come out a bubbled mess. But I'm just kind of, you know, going over it, kind of where I would have probably placed leaves. you know, placing these little scrolls. And again with them, I mean, you can just be kind of whimsical. Or if you have a certain pattern that you want to do, you know, you can do that as well. I just like to stay pretty random and just keep scrolling around. You might just bring some of them down, make little jets out from them. It really doesn't matter. And if you wanted to, you could actually use this to maybe add some dimension to the leaves or the petals themselves on the flower. But for the purpose of this video, I'm not doing that. I'm just adding it. Just kind of make them a little festive. I mean, with this kind of painting, you can actually get pretty darn detailed. I don't know if I touched that at the top. Could have. Not known for my neatness, to be honest with you. Now, you know, just kind of turn the glass, see where you might want to add some more. You know, if you find that you want to add more, that's fine. And then what I did on the other glasses is just kind of where I had painted down the stem. I just put just like a little jiggly line, just to kind of give it some finishing off. Okay, so I'll go to the wine glass, do the same thing here. Now with these lids that I'm using on these glass bottles, you just have to be careful because they have a tendency to get clogged, so you might just run into, they might start spurting. And so just be careful. If it starts to become hard to get out, just make sure that you pay attention to that and clean them off. So it's kind of telling you, hey, I'm getting ready to start spouting. And I typically will, before I actually start putting them on my design, I will put the design, or point it actually at a plate or something to that effect, so that I'm getting an idea if it's clogged or not before I start. Because once you start, it could just spurt out, and then you've got a mess. Then you might be redoing your entire glass, which might make you a little mad. Would make me mad if I went through all that work and then had to wash it off and start over. Although with this one, I actually put the base coat on a few days ago, so it might be a little harder to wash off. Like you see, I'm just going around and just randomly adding it. It's not rocket science by any means. And hopefully I'll get better at it as I do this. It's just hard, you know, on your fingers to keep squirting. And I like to try to make them look as opaque as possible. But there you go. Just to give you some idea on that one. I think they're pretty so far. Okay, next I'm going to add the little stamens on the inside of the flower. And I'm just going to do that by, I'm using gold metallic paint on this. And then silver and white, silver metallic paint and the white wicker were the other colors that I used. Again, being folk art enamels. So I'm thinking about getting back into offering painted glassware again. So I've been really kind of looking at some different things that are available now for glassware. So I might be coming up with some neat things, hopefully. Okay, so this glass only has the 2. I mean, you know, you really can get crazy with this as far as, you know, adding dots and, you know, adding different designs, because I actually do, I draw the Zentangle, I guess that's what you would call it, or the, you know, different designs like that. And it's okay if you draw another color into your mix. That's fine. It actually gives it some more interest. Not something you have to consider redoing. All right. Alright, so after I did that, now I need to switch back to my silver and then finish these off. Now you can add, if you wanted to do maybe even another color. I just decided to stick with the silver just because I knew I was going to do a video and didn't want to be switching back. It's bad enough I could just keep switching back, but I just decided to stick with the silver. But a lot of times I add the berry wine just to give it a little bit of a pop of color. After this dries for at least an hour before I bake it, if I feel like the paint has actually flattened out nicely and isn't too clumped up, I might go ahead and bake it. But again, I just am concerned because some of it will be, popped up. But like I said, when you're doing these, if you want to add dots or if you want to come back in and, like do some crazy outlines of the flower, you can do that. Or when you're doing, the designs, you can do some dots in different places. But just for the purpose of this video, oh, also I forgot to do that on this one. I'm going to go down on the base here like I did on the champagne glass and just do a squiggly line just to give it some, make it completed, or what I would feel completed. But there you go. Quick, cute little gift to give somebody, for the holidays or wedding glasses. Just very, like I said, quick and easy. Nothing crazy. There you go. And I hope you like them. And thanks for stopping by. Let me know if you have any questions. Have a good evening.